So, hello students, today I am going to talk about the tribes and their rights. We will look into that how we can classify the different tribal groups in India. Then we will look into that what are the different steps taken by Government of India for the protection of the rights and what is in the constitution for the protection and promotion of their rights. Then we will see that what are the different challenges, and lastly we will talk about the suggestions which has been recommended by Khakha committees. So now the very first thing about the tribes and their rights. So the very first thing that the tribes, if you will see 2011 census, then there are different tribal groups. So in India there are 700 tribal groups and the total population of the ST is 104 million. Now if you will see that what is in the constitution about their rights, then we can divide it like political safeguards for them. So political safeguards is mentioned in Article 330, Article 332, 243D and 243T. So basically this is about the reservation of seats for the ST population in Lok Sabha and State Legislative Assembly and Panchayat and municipalities respectively. And the second broad framework is what is the economic and educational safeguards available for them. Then Article 15 in the fundamental rights talks about the prohibition of discrimination on the basis of race. Then Article 16 that is talking about equality in the matter of public employment. Then Article 46, it is talking about the promotion of the education and economic upliftment of the scheduled tribes. Then it is also about their claim on the government post. So these are the different rights which is in the constitution. Now as I told you that there are 700 tribal groups, how we can divide this tribal group? The very first division we can say is based on geography, that is geographical definition or geographical classification. So we can say north, northeastern, central and southern tribes. Then the second is racial classification. In racial classification you can talk about Mongoloids, you can talk about Proto-Australoid, you can talk about Negritos, you can talk about Negritos. The third is you can talk about in the terms of linguistic division, linguistic classification. So in the linguistic classification they can be divided like Indo-Aryan, Austroasiatic and then Tibeto-Burman. These are the different classification. Tibeto-Burman classification, Indo-Aryan, and then also you can say that is Austroasiatic. Then the third and the fourth division is constitution. If you will see in Article 342 clause 1 and 342 clause 2, then as per Article 342 clause 1, President by the notification with the recommendation of the governor comes with the list of the group of the people who will be classified as scheduled tribe. And Article 342 clause 2 says that the parliament can include or exclude the group or the community from the notification released by the president. And the last one is the classification based on the administration. And the very first division that comes here is PVTG, particular vulnerable tribal groups. And according to this, there are 75 different tribal groups, and Odisha has the highest number of PVTG. But the question is how it is being classified as particular vulnerable tribal group. So the very first classification is a stagnant or declining population. Second is low level of literacy. The third is pre-agricultural level of technology. And the fourth is economic backwardness. So these are the four different criteria based on which certain tribes are classified as particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Then denotified tribes. These are the tribes which has been classified as criminal as per the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871. Britishers have termed some of the tribal group as criminal as per the law. That law has been repealed in 1952 and they were called as denotified tribes. So this is the total classification of the tribal groups in India. Now we will see that what is the policy of Government of India. There has been a debate after the independence that whether we should go for integration approach for the tribal or we should go for isolationist approach or isolation approach for the tribal. It means that whether we should leave them as they are or whether we should integrate them in the mainstream society. But what we did and what is important for the examination perspective, that we have neither accepted integration approach nor we have accepted isolationist approach. And our approach is based on Nehru tribal pencil. And this pencil talks about that we should not give a number of schemes for the tribal region. Rather than we should see that what is the outcome of the scheme. Then they should develop as per their own choice. And the government should provide training to them. Government should provide training to them in their areas rather than sending the people from the mainstream land to this tribal region so that they can develop on their own. And we should not focus upon the money spent on their development rather than focusing upon the outcomes of the government schemes. Now, if you will see the approach of the government for the tribals, it can be classified under 1, 2, 3, and 4 factors or approaches. The very first thing is integrated development of tribes. Here, you can see the policy of reservation. You also know about SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act for them. That comes under the integrated development of tribes. Then Protection of Civil Rights Act also comes under integrated development of the tribes. Then for safeguarding tribal identity, how you can protect the identity of the people. For that we have PESA Act and Forest Right Act 2006. Then by providing them an isolated environment, for that we have ILP, that is Inner Line Permit. It means that there are certain areas in the northeast where you cannot go, you need some kind of permit, and that is in Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Nagaland and Manipur. So these are the approaches towards the integration of the tribals and what we are doing for their upliftment. So if the question comes that what is the policy perspective of Government of India, then we all know the different schemes. For example, minor forest produce, commercializing the minor forest produce, goal scheme, that is the digital empowerment of tribal, 1000 Springs initiative, that is to provide them drinking water. So these are the schemes, but whenever we are talking about the policy perspective, then it can be divided like this, that this is the policy and the governance towards the tribals. Now, the next thing is, what are the different challenges? There are different challenges, for example, economic challenges, security challenges, policy challenges, socio-cultural challenges. If you will see the policy issues, it is very important because we have PESA Act, but Jharkhand has 26% of the tribal population, but rules have not been notified as per the provisions of PESA. Then second is Forest Right Act. It has been alleged, and it is reality also, that community forest right is not being recognized by the forest department, and that is a violation or that is a breach of the promises given under FRA. Then environmental issue. Environmental issue, you can talk about the degradation of forest, you can talk about degradation of water bodies, degradation of forest, degradation of water bodies. That is significant for their survival because they depend on the forest and its produce. Then economic issue, low level of skill, low level of education, you can say, because if you will see the literacy at the national rate is 73% and the literacy among ST is 59%. This data will substantiate your answer. Then socio-cultural issues. If you will see health, parameters of health, then infant mortality rate at the national average is 35 and IMR of ST is 41.6. Likewise, poverty rate is 21% as per Tendulkar committee and 29% as per Rangarajan committee, but poverty rate among ST is 50%. So this data will help you in substantiating the point, and this subheading will help you in better restructuring of your answer. Now, the last one is what should be our approach, what we should do for them. So the very first thing that India should focus upon ILO convention, and India should ratify this ILO convention that talks about the human rights of the tribal. Along with this, in Autonomous Development Council, we should increase the participation of women. So these 2 points will come under the administrative measures. Now, socio-economic measures, what we can do for them is the very first thing what we can do in the field of education for them. It is being said that we should focus upon establishing the resource centers for them where we can provide training in the field of art, craft, embroidery, etc. Then in the terms of health, what we can do for them, that we can have the tribal health assembly annually, because if you will see, then the tribal is having the burden of triple diseases like communicable disease, non-communicable disease and mental health issue. Therefore, Khaka committee has recommended for tribal health assembly. Khaka committee is very important, which you can use in your answer. Then with respect to land alienation, Khaka committee has recommended that it is very important that tenancy laws in the Schedule 5 area, should be amended so that the Gram Sabha should have power of restoration of the land if it has been alienated. Because if you will see, then there is a forced eviction, and just I am giving you one case study which you can use in your examination, that 20,000 families are going to lose their houses in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, because government has provided the commercial coal mining license to the capitalists. So these are the examples, or these are the case study which you can use in your answer. Why I am discussing this all issue? Because it is important. Along with this, it is important to know that how to address the answer by using subheading, by using data, by using committee in your answer. So that's all about the tribal rights, and the next video will come on fintech sector. Okay, so thanks to all of you.